everyone. Happy New Year. It is 2022, and here I am. My name is Sophina Turner. I am your host, and this is Charm City Decoded podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope it's a great start to this new year for everyone so far. But I already listened to the news, so I know some is not having a great start to the new year. So I send prayers up for all of us because we need it. Today's topic is fire next time. And the reason for this topic, I chose this topic because, for one, I love James Baldwin. He wrote this book called The Fire Next Time. And I think I want to have a discussion about it. James Baldwin, along with so many others who wanted to enlighten the world with the brutality of man. The world with God and understanding what that means to you if you believe. Faith. What does that mean for you? Hope. What does that mean for you? So he told a story about the sign of the times of him growing up as a black boy who turned into a black man in a world when the world was cruel. And I can't say that it has changed too much since then. So, we going from, this is 2022. We talking about this time, this era when I believe he wrote this book originally. Let me see. This book originally came out in 1963. So imagine, 1960. Well, actually, it was copywritten in 1962, 63 by James Baldwin. So the 1960s. And then they renewed the copyrights in 1990 and 91. So from that time to this time, what has changed? Has anything changed? What is the meaning of the fire next time? And I'm going to tell you a little bit of what I've learned. When you think about Genesis 6, that's written in the Bible. You think about Noah and the ark and the sign of the rainbow, where it's going to say, what is it? Let me say, no more water, but fire next time. Like, I'm going to read you a little section in this book, The Fire Next Time. And then we're going to go from there. If we, and now I mean the relatively conscious whites and the relatively conscious blacks, who must, like lovers, insist on or create the consciousness of the others, do not falter in our duty now. We may be able, handful that we are, to end the racial nightmare and achieve our country and change the history of the world. If we do not now dare everything. The fulfillment of that prophecy, recreated from the Bible and song by a slave, is upon us. God gave Noah the rainbow sign. No more water. The fire next time. So that was written in this book by Mr. James Baldwin. I found a great and wonderful writer. Has that changed? Coming from his experiences growing up in New York, writing this novel, The Fire Next Time, in the 1960s. And we're living in 2022. 2022. We've had our first black president. Now we have our first black woman VP of the United States, Miss Kamala Harris. We've had so many situations where you have encounters with the police as far as police brutality. You know, you had your Mr. George Floyd, who was killed by police officers in Minnesota. They was found guilty. They was found guilty April 21st, 2021. All right? You know, then you have Mr. Ahmaud Arbery. He was only 25 years old. He was killed February 23rd of 2020 by 3 white men who were citizens in the community. They say Glenn County, Georgia community. Because he was running down the street, jogging. So they saw this black man and they made him guilty for whatever crime they thought he was guilty of. And he was killed. They was found guilty November 24th, 2021. Okay. So now what? We have a Congress. You know, they bickering back and forward, gerrymandering, all that stuff going on. You know, this Build Back Better bill by our president, Joe Biden. They, you know, it didn't go through. So what that mean? Life goes on, right? Life goes on. We're going to continue to live in this world, whether they pass that bill or not. It would make lives a lot easier and a lot happier if they did pass that bill. But what did that mean? Us as black people, we're used to surviving. We went through slavery. We've been through the Jim Crow era and the post-Jim Crow era. You know, incarceration is more so than the physical. It's the mental. And I hope we don't stay there in that mental incarceration. We got to become free. You know, they say, the Bible states that the world ended with a flood, the Red Sea, as it parted. Right? And now, the next step is to fire next time because of what's going on out here in the world. There's a lot of evil people out here. Some you can see, and some is in disguise. So we all have to be careful. But that shouldn't stop us from being who we were meant to be, which are good people, loving people, you know, forgiving people. That's what we're supposed to be. That's what we strive to be, you know. So I hope we've reached that plateau before we all disintegrate into the earth, you know. So I don't want this to be a sad podcast. I just wanted to reflect on this new year that we have entered into with a second chance. Every new year brings us a second chance with correcting any mistakes we have made in the prior year. Lifting our heads up and moving forward. Not giving up. So that's what this podcast is about. That's what it's truly about. Because if we do meet our maker with fire, because, I mean, when you think about it, we all eventually disintegrate into dust and become one back with the earth. You know, we're not going to live forever. That's just not how we was made. We're not created to live forever. Only in hearts and in spirit, not in flesh. So, I hope we taking this second chance at life, and reflect on ourselves, and hopefully we can move on and do things better. You know, remember I spoke of Kwanzaa for this past week. It was, that's another method that was created to hopefully bring us closer together, closer to what our design is as human beings, to be one. You know, to love on each other, to pray for one another, to help one another, to uplift one another, support one another, and do our best. We're going to falter because we all have our faults. We all have our faults. But that don't take away from the second chance that God always give us as He allow for us to open our eyes each new day and start over. And each new year to refresh ourselves. So, this is going to be a very brief podcast, so I wish everyone a happy new year, and I hope that it brings you everything that you want in life. I hope you are prosperous in all your endeavors. I hope you feel love through each moment that you experience with another person. And be happy while doing it. And please, stay healthy. Let's stay masked up. This corona, it's no joke. And these variants that keep coming out, every time you turn around, it's a new variant. So please, keep those masks on. And if you haven't been vaccinated, keep your social distance. Let's try to keep each other healthy. So I'm signing out. This is Charm City Decoded. I am your host, Sophina Turner. And thank you. And please, I'm going to ask again, hit the like button. Share it if you can. And subscribe. All right. Y'all have a good night and a good Sunday. I'll see you next week.